Hello, how the tech are you? This is our weekly tech show on Echoplex Media. We talk about science and tech news and whatever else in the science and tech area we feel like talking about. I am historian Matt. I talk about whatever I feel like talking about in science and tech. But this week, I'm following up more on some of the particularly like the AI generated art. And Google is basically the two topics. So the first one is Getty Images built a socially responsible AI tool that rewards artists, and we'll discuss if that is actually happening with them. And the second one is Google open sourced a hat shaped like a giant keycap, and it actually types. So the second one's kind of a fun one. So you in the tinfoil hat, what do you got for us?
So I'm Dave. I'm the producer of this and all the shows here at Echoplex Media. Make sure to check us out twitch.tv/Echoplex Media. That's Tuesday through Sunday nights. And I have two stories this week. One, the Securities and Exchange Commission is attempting to make Elon Musk testify. Good luck with that. And MGM did not pay the hackers a ransom in their recent hacking experience. Take it away, Matt.
All right, my first one about Getty Images. So there's a big problem where creators are suing because AI models were basically trained on their work without consent, and they're not being compensated. So all these, like, everybody's seen these AI generated images. They're trained on photos from all over the place, and some paintings and digital art and stuff like that. In fact, Getty Images was sued Stability AI, which runs Stable Diffusion, because they were clearly using Getty's images. And we know this because Stable Diffusion would actually generate some images with the Getty watermark, like in the bottom. I think it was like bottom right-hand corner or something. So like clearly they're using the images without compensation or consent or anything. But so we had the Getty Images CEO Craig Peters has a solution. He was at a conference recently and told us what they were working on. Hasn't been released yet, but basically Getty built an AI tool that uses only licensed data, licensed images and stuff, and is designed to reward creators. So they're using their own licensed images from their website to train this AI. And eventually it's going to be used to reward creators. And the quote from I believe this was from the CEO was, "As we grow revenue from the service, those creators are rewarded for their contributions to the tool." And I don't have this in the text. It is in the article that I linked to, but basically the idea is creators, people who are making these images and allowing them to be used with this AI tool, will be compensated based on how much they contributed. And specifically, I'm guessing, although they weren't exactly clear, it's like how many of their images were actually used to train this AI tool. And then that would be used as like their percentage of the income coming to this, to the tool itself. So Dave, what do you think? Think it's going to work?
It's a good idea, but I don't know, Getty Images, are they going to be, do you know if they're going to just be grabbing some existing open source software to do this, or are they trying to build a brand new AI image generator?
There's a lot of stuff that's unclear on this. The way they talked, it sounded like they were building their own thing, but who knows? It wasn't real clear about it. It's unclear. It sounded like, creators would be able to opt out or opt in. Again, stuff that's not entirely clear about that sort of thing. And it's like how you train an AI model is really important. And it's not real clear like how they're doing that. There was some talk about how it wouldn't know who the Pope is. Well, that's kind of important for some people who are making some of these crazy images.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. They're like a little bit behind in the game, and this isn't really in their wheelhouse. So they may have to hire up, or if they contract someone out, I don't. If they contract another company out to do this, it's they may find that this is not cheap and maybe not profitable for them.
But Getty Images is like the biggest image licensing company out there, so they have the money. They might have the money to do it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it, maybe, I guess.
Yeah, I want to keep an eye on it, see if it works, see what people are saying about it. It could be good. Like, it could actually work out if they're, ethical, but companies aren't always known for doing that, right?
Yeah, I mean, something's better than nothing, but still, like, if it's if people are making like, $1 a month or something, does it really matter?
Yeah.
Well,
if they weren't making anything before,
Yeah. What do you got next?
Okay, so my next topic is a fun one. As I get it up here, basically, yeah, as I said, Google open sourced their hat shaped like a giant keycap. It actually works. So is it called the Keycap or a Keycap cap? I don't know. Nobody seems to know the correct word for it, but basically, it's the latest weird keyboard from Google Japan. This is not the first keyboard that they made like this. And it's a promo basically for Google's Gboard app. I don't know how this is a promo, but whatever. They did this before they did a 5-foot long keyboard that was every key in a row. And that was for some reason a promo, and it was kind of funny. But this one is it's basically a hat shaped like a keyboard, or just a key from a computer keyboard, not all keyboard. And the funny thing about it is it actually works as a keyboard. You can actually use it to type. And how it works is you would angle the cap on your head, and it has sensors to figure out the angle. And then you can actually push down on the top of it as if it's a key. And it actually does have some, it presses in a certain amount. I don't remember how much. And it works like you're pressing that key. Now, how exactly each angle is a different key, and how what key you're pressing is, I don't know how that works. It seems like it'd be difficult to use, but that's not really the point. The point is it's a funny keyboard made to look like a hat. And you can get basically all the firmware and hardware is open source. You can download source code from GitHub. That will be in our show notes. It's already there. What do you think, guy in the tinfoil hat? Are you going to get a keycap hat?
No.
No.
It's obviously just for marketing, right? I mean,
it's fun. I thought it was silly.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of cool. The idea of like a keycap hat is kind of a funny idea. Making it type, I bet it is like the most annoying thing in the world to try to type on.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think the fact that they made it try to type was like a silly thing. I think everyone involved knows that it is a silly thing. And do you know if they're also selling them like pre-made by Google?
I don't think so. I'm not sure. I think they just open sourced all the info basically for making it. If you want to make your own, I don't think they're selling it.
Well,
it's possible that somebody may start making them and selling them, but it's open source, so it could happen. But who knows? If there's enough demand,
that would be so weird if that was like in my web shop.
Yeah.
But also I would have to make them, and then I would have to charge a lot for them.
Yeah, that would not be fun.
I don't think anybody would buy them. And then I'd just have them sitting here. Yeah, that's kind of cool, I guess. I can't fault them for it. I mean, I don't know. It is a bit odd though, amidst like a bunch of layoffs and stuff in tech, that they're doing something like this. I hope they don't lay that department off now that they're done making the hat.
Yeah, really.
I mean, that's not funny, but it kind of is.
Kind of is.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with it. I maybe I'll see one day, and I'll be like, "Can I type on your head?" And then somebody would be like, "You're weird."
Yep, pretty much.
So I guess it's my turn now. We got the Securities and Exchange Commission is going to attempt. They seem to be making an attempt to get Elon Musk to testify regarding his stock purchase of Twitter. Not the purchase of Twitter, but the purchase of the stock prior to purchasing Twitter. Buying stock before buying a company might be insider trading, or it could be considered to be that, and that's what the probe's looking at. Elon did not show up to testify last month as requested. His excuse was that San Francisco is not a good location for it. He said that people in San Francisco don't like him, and that's according to a small survey that he cited. And the Securities Exchange Commission suggested moving the meeting to Fort Worth, Texas, but Elon just seems to be refusing to meet them at all. Surprised?
No, not at all surprised. He seems to think that laws don't apply to him.
Well, he's been proven right over and over again.
Unfortunately.
It's weird. I don't know if the Securities and Exchange Commission were to attempt to compel me to testify. I think they would have a fairly easy time doing it. They're not I don't think they're afraid of me, but
right.
I don't know why. I mean, they have the power. They have like subpoena power or whatever, I think.
Yeah.
And so I think there've been a lot of people that have like sort of refused to testify in front of the Securities and Exchange Commission. And I feel like that ends real quickly if they use, I don't know to what extent they have enforcement power, but if they use some enforcement power and maybe somebody spends a night somewhere in the pokey, if they refuse to testify, I feel like this ends real quick.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. Why they let certain like people who are don't seem to have much respect for the law, but they just let them do whatever. And even though they seem to have the power to enforce these things, but I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know what the details are on this.
Yeah.
So maybe something like the compelled speech or something.
I don't know what enforcement powers they have either. I think that maybe once it hits the courts, like if they're just doing an inquiry, maybe people can refuse. But I think once it hits the courts can compel you to come in.
Yeah.
So I think it could be something like that, but I'm just guessing here. But you would think that it would be in a person's interest to go in there with an attorney and answer the questions.
Well, maybe, because it could be that if he goes in and answer questions, he's going to incriminate himself.
Well, that's why you bring an attorney.
Right. So, yeah.
I
may think that it's just better not to talk in front of people who have power over him like that. In which case, the SEC has to stand up on their own evidence instead of whatever, Elon said. So,
yeah. I don't know. We'll see how this plays out. It'll probably play out like everything else has played out for this guy, though, right? Where like nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, unfortunately.
That's all right. I don't know. Maybe he'll try to go to Mars.
Unfortunately, because how it played out with Twitter was nothing as well, because it's bombing.
Yeah. We'll see. Because the language of the article seemed to indicate that the SEC is very very motivated to compel him to testify. So
okay.
So we'll see.
Keep an eye on it.
We'll see, because they do have, even if they can't like put him in, if they don't have power like to arrest, there are other sanctions the SEC could levy on a person like Elon Musk.
Yeah.
And on the Twitter corporation. So we'll see how that goes. I got one more here. We got MGM, the MGM brand in Las Vegas was hacked. And they didn't pay the ransom, which is good. That's generally the advice, is not to pay the ransom. So the hack left many people waiting to get in their rooms and forced MGM to shut down some of the systems. Most of the data that was stolen, according to MGM, was primarily data from before 2019. MGM says they don't believe anyone's password or banking information was taken, and they say that things have more or less gone back to normal since the hack. This was all over the news, like this hack, and then all of a sudden it wasn't. Did you hear about this, Matt?
I had not heard about it at all. I didn't even know that it was a casino. I was thinking said MGM in the show notes. I was like, oh, the movie got hacked. Another movie studio got hacked. Like what happened to Sony a while ago. I don't even know if MGM exists still as a studio.
Yeah, it was a hotel. I don't know if it was the whole hotel chain, but I do know that people were unable to get into their rooms at the Grand in Las Vegas, and people were posting about it. This is good that they didn't pay the ransom, because first of all, if you pay the ransom, there's nothing to guarantee that you'll actually get anything at all from paying the ransom. They could go, thanks for the money, and then not give you any of your stuff anyway, which has happened in the past, which is good, which is not great. But more importantly here, I think, some of these companies that aren't tech companies are starting to figure out that they are tech companies, actually. Yeah. And that you can't do business with a bunch of computers, because that's what most of the machines there are. They're PCs, right? They're not mechanical slot machines.
Except that they're probably not, or wouldn't consider themselves a tech company. They're buying their tech from other companies.
Yeah.
So these other companies should be worried about security. Yeah. A lot of tech companies, the dirty little secret is most tech companies are not doing enough to deal with security or taking proper precautions.
Yeah, I wonder about that stuff with some of the services that I rely on. Maybe not necessarily Twitch, but like our merch provider is a startup, right? And so who knows? Hopefully,
startups have a big problem with that because security is usually a second thought,
right?
And or third.
I don't know. Hopefully they're taking care of it, and everybody I've talked to from the team there seems pretty good. So, and I'm not so worried about Squarespace, although that's a pretty big target actually for someone.
Yeah,
because they have a lot of people's credit card info, especially now that Google Domains has been sold to Squarespace, so they have all those people's information now too.
Right.
This was good on MGM. I'm glad they didn't pay the ransom and they were able to get everything back going. And if they're to be believed, then nobody's password to their MGM account or their none of their credit card information was released. And if this is all before 2019, then a lot of people got new credit cards and new debit cards since then anyway. But I do wonder if all the information that was taken was pre-2019, how it shut down their machines and shut down their card system for getting into rooms. Maybe there was more to the attack. They took information, but they also shut down systems.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that could be the case. But I mean, good on them. Good on them for not paying it. We're not going to do an MGM appreciation podcast or anything, but good on them for not paying, because the less people pay, the less likely, the less enticing this is for criminals and people who would go in and try to take information and shut systems down. So good on MGM. And I guess that's the show. Matt, I don't think you've closed out the show in a while, so I think it's your turn.
I have not. I was worried about that. So. All right. That was our show. Thanks for joining us and listening on the podcast, watching us on YouTube, however you're watching us, is great. So check out our website at echoplexmedia.com. You can see all of the other shows that are in this podcast group. I don't know what we call it. Everything that Dave does. And we record this, but most of the other stuff, the other shows are live on Twitch. You can find them at twitch.tv/echoplexmedia. And finally, we've got lots of swag, lots of cool stuff you can buy, including the tinfoil hat that Dave is wearing. And you can get that at eplex.store. Have a great Tekken week.